Wait, is that PewDiePie? PewDiePie saw my video? Am I famous? Come on. Come on. Don't you hate it when you're doing dragon and you keep getting toxic pieces of gear? It's like, I'm not going to use you. Today's video is going to be me showing every dungeon that I do, Dragon 20, Spider 20, Fire Knight 20, Ice Golem 20. I'm going to be showing all of those dungeons on auto. So that way you can see my fastest runs, what teams I use, and I'll just kind of walk you through it. I've had some people ask me in comments to do this full complete runs so you guys can just get a taste of all Dungeon 20s for the people that either may not have seen them already or for the people that want to see what an in-game account looks like when you're clearing through the 20s. We're going to be starting with Dragon 20 as it's the most common one I farm. I use Ray Lee for the speed aura as well as the massive AoE damage I ever fully booked. And then I have 2 fully booked Royal Guards I use for the AoE damage as well as Dragon clearing. Then we have Tyrell for the AoE defense down first so that the AoEs will clear better. Then Arbiter to revive the Royal Guards as well as give them attack up. I'm going to show you how it runs. Typically what happens is Tyrell is going to go get the AoE defense down. They're going to do double takedown to get a large amount of damage. Then Banish will clean up what they can towards the end. And then whoever's left alive, normally Tyrell and one of the Royal Guards will get a hit and finish them out. On the second wave, you don't have your bigger AoEs. So unfortunately, a lot of times the Royal Guards can die here, which is why you need your Arbiter, or I should say my Arbiter here, in order to revive my Royal Guards as they do not survive through things like Bloodleather or, you know, the Horde and Burst, the stun guy with the crossbow. I forget his name off the top of my head here. But you see here, Bloodleather will kill him most of the times, and if they don't kill him, the crossbow guy will. And that's why I need the Arbiter in here in order to revive my Royal Guards, so that by the time I do get to the Dragon, and normally I can get to the Dragon right around 1 minute in. If I get to the Dragon under a minute, that's fine, and then for the most part, I'll be on pace for a decent run. So here we're 56 seconds in, and with any luck, we'll get defense down and weaken before we apply the takedowns, or else you can lose some damage here at this portion. So Raby and Foley Book got the defense down. Now we have the attack up, and then our Royal Guards will go and do the majority of the nuking here for the boss. Now, granted, if I had, and see, there we go, there's the problem. I was going to say, granted, if I had full critical chance, this run would be better, because what you're going to see here is about 10% of the time my Royal Guards are going to non-crit. So I would recommend trying to get 100% crit. I believe I have 84% and like 91% of my Royal Guards at the moment. So it is a little inconsistent. I would say 1 out of 5 runs. One of the takedowns don't crit, and that can cause me like another 20 or 30 seconds, unfortunately. But for the most part, this team is fairly quick. Once I get some better kind of AoE poison nukers, or like Dracomorph, or, you know, some kind of AoE nuker with the poisons, you know, expunging the poisons. If I can get something like that, I might be able to get through the waves quicker. If I can pull a third Royal Guard, perhaps, or even better gear might improve this time. But for now, I'm just under 2 minutes. My best time is 1:25, once again, using this team. Let me remove the Kraken here, as he's going to be a problem for this video. I should have realized that off the bat. Bang, there we go. And there you go, 1 minute, 46 seconds. Best time is 1:25, and this is the team I use for Dragon. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is going to be Spider. Here's my Spider team. I have showed this in one of my most recent videos where I'm talking about Microtransaction monster. I'll put the link up in the card up there if you wish to watch that video. And he plus the Royal Guards and the Code Heart and Tyrell will allow this to be a 100% consistent auto. Now, the Code Heart will die during this, and it does take about 2 minutes to auto this, but this will be a consistent auto, meaning I can run this overnight while I'm sleeping or if I'm AFK, and I can farm the Spider entirely using blue stacks. Again, I'll put a card up in the top corner up there if you wish to know how to farm AFK or overnight completely automated just using your computer in a free program. I have that walkthrough. Now, essentially how this team works here is the Royal Guards plus the Code Hearts are going to just do massive nuking damage. He is going to heal and then eventually kill the Code Heart, but over time the shields from Miscreated Monster are going to go ahead and keep everybody except the Code Heart alive, and over time the decreased speed plus the decreasing turn meter from Tyrell plus the Royal Guards takedowns will drain the Spider's health, and you will eventually beat them just about the 2 minute mark. So I'm going to let this play out here so you can see how it happens. And there is a small amount of RNG in effectively trying to make sure that you can get all of your debuffs to land. It is possible for some of them to get resisted, but if you don't have enough accuracy on like Tyrell, for instance, to get that decreased defense down, then you're probably going to have problems with a team similar to this one. I have pretty good accuracy on them in order to get the defense debuffs to land. Plus, it's not very a fast run. So if you are trying to play it manually or something, this would not be the team I'd probably use. I'd probably use a bunch of code hearts and just manually click. But for completely automated, this is a very reliable team, as code heart ends up tanking and then just dying, but tanks so long because of Frankenstein giving them that shield. It gives time for the Royal Guards to, you know, really prepare for their takedowns like they're doing here, which then eventually clear the Spider. So that's how I'm currently autoing my Spider 20. It's a pretty good team. I don't mind it at all. It's very consistent, and even with the non-criticals, I can see their Heart, Secret, and Crit. And what's interesting is actually Code Heart is staying alive a lot longer than normal. Normally, under 2 minutes and this team will clear it. This is one of the first times I've seen it go on this long. I think there was some non-crits that happened, but Code Heart's still alive. Normally by about a minute 40, Code Heart will die. So this is a little bit different of a run. I'm kind of actually excited. I get hair in my mouth from having long hair, but I'm kind of excited actually to see what happens. Okay, there we go. Code Heart finally dies. It's taken a little bit longer, but I guess this does kind of show the consistency of it, because it's another minute, right? It's going longer, but the Royal Guards just won't die. I mean, it's not really possible for them to die, so you can just keep going as long as needed until it's eventually cleared. Now, you're going to notice my best time is 13 seconds. That's from the Sears glitch that was out for a while. Ooh, this might end up being a good Barbarian ring. So that's not a legitimate time. Normally, I do about 2 minutes with this team. Okay, here's my team for the dungeon of Ice Golem. Now, I use kind of a weird team. I have Alton and Arbiter, and the reason I have them both in there is for the double revive. Now, I use everybody on this team is the correct affinity, meaning they're all strong against them, except obviously Arbiter, who is void, so it's just neutral. But Ray is strong affinity, double Royal Guard, and Alton. So we all get that extra damage bonus, which helps. Plus, they do reduce damage to us because they are the opposite affinity, and that helps as well. Now, the second wave can be kind of a bummer sometimes, because if he gets that shriek damage off, which he's probably going to get off here, your guys more than likely will nuke themselves. So luckily I got the one takedown in first, but your Ray and your Royal Guards can effectively kill themselves with their AoE nukes on that reflect damage. It isn't a huge deal. See, there you go. Royal Guard died is a good example. It isn't a huge deal because, again, both Arbiter and Alton have that revive capability. Now, I have to have Alton in here as well, because as you see in this run, most likely, Arbiter can, in fact, die. She can get killed through it's ignore defense. If the defense up doesn't matter. And she can still get one shot, even though she has like an HP chest plate and gloves, for example. She can still be one shot by the Ice Golem with his final move. And so for that reason, I have Alton in here, as Alton is too tanky to be one shot, and he can revive if worse comes to worse when I'm like farming this all night, AFK or on auto or something. And I'm wanting to make sure I have 100% win rate. Alton can come in clutch with a couple clutch revives on key targets like Arbiter, which would then help keep the damage going because she can, you know, continue the revives, yada, yada, yada. Now, and what you're going to notice here, and probably the largest problem that I have had with this dungeon, is that your people all individually focus the ads first, and he tends to revive the ads. For this reason, it can take a long time to get through this dungeon if you don't have huge AoE nuking going on. Like if the Royal Guards are not an option for you and you have to do kind of a tankier team or something, it can take a good amount of time to get through because you're constantly having to get through the ads as they revive. It can be very frustrating. Now you see takedown there is going to do about half of his health or so, and for that reason I highly recommend having some sort of AoE nuke like a Cold Heart, a Royal Guard or something for this dungeon. It can be very frustrating without it, but you can in fact grind out the dungeon with super tanky type of teams. I mean, you can do like Bad Alcazar, Alton, Valkyrie, you know, stuff like that. Just really tanky characters, and eventually grind it out. As he doesn't regenerate health, he just ramps damage and ignores defense, okay? So I like to try to have a balance of both being tanky and having a good amount of nuking ability. That way it gets cleared reliably without taking too much time as well. So there you go. There's the takedown, and that's just about a 3-minute clear. You're going to notice my best time is a 2-minute and 6-second clear. That was with the same team, only with Alton being Tyrell instead, but it's not near as reliable, so I have to use this team when I'm going overnight. Okay, and on the last couple minutes here of the Fire Knight, I'm going to explain this team briefly. I didn't show you the full waves because it does, in fact, take quite a bit of time. You can see here it took me 6 minutes. My best time is 4 minutes. Ooh, that's actually an immunity set with speed. I'm going to be keeping that. I'll show you real quick here how the waves go, which is why I didn't show you the entire run. The waves are very slow, but this is a reliable team, meaning I can go to bed, fall asleep, wake up with 2,000 energy going. On the Fire Knight, have it all used and none of it being used inefficiently. All of it was put directly into gear. And that's what I like. So as far as the time frame goes, it's quite bad. I don't like 6 minutes. This is something I'm going to be improving today, actually, on stream. So if you guys want to see this final dungeon team improved, check me out on Twitch TV/Darth Microtransaction. The link will be in the comments. I'll put a pinned comment so you can just click on it there. And I'm going to be working on my Fire Knight team today. I have 3 Nethros, and so I think I'm going to build 2 more Nethros, and I'm going to see how triple Nethro plus Valkyrie and what's her name, Cold Heart, they're going to do in the dungeon. I think it's going to be quite funny. And if you want to see that funny content, come join me. I like doing the mess around fun stuff on stream. Okay, guys, I'll see you on the live stream, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for everything.